More for you now on our in-depth look at recycling in Canada. If you're of a certain age, you'll remember when it all started here, in fact, 30 years ago. A hopeful and truly a simpler time. You remember bundling up the newspapers. That was where it started. Then a few years later, you got to put all those glass and tins in the blue bin. Well, now recycling programs are much bigger. There's more cost, too, and for some people, a lot of confusion over just what goes into that blue bin. So we're sorting that out for you. Mark Badger back with me again this hour. He's the Executive VP of Canada Fibers, a major recycling company in Ontario, handles about 60% of the sorting and processing. Thank you very much for sticking around, because we have viewer questions, which we're going to get to. But you can sort of play this game at home, because what I want to begin with this hour is there's our blue bin. We recognize that, like the invention from 30 years ago, and all sorts of props that Mark has brought in. And we're going to sort out what can go in and what can't go in, because there's still a lot of confusion, isn't there?
There sure is, and it's interesting that you bring up that confusion. At dinner parties, we play a game, and we play a game that's called What Can Go In and What Can't Go In.
Okay, let's play that this morning then.
Here's a very good example of something that universally goes into the blue box.
Okay.
And that's a beverage bottle. And you should know that 25 of these, recovered and recycled, can make a fleecy jacket. So very, very valuable material to recover.
In it goes. Okay, let's go through more of those. Cereal box?
Cereal box or a newspaper.
No-brainer?
No-brainer, should go in. But people need to know this. 1 ton of these materials can save 15 trees from being cut down. And we have to remember, trees give us the oxygen we need in order to breathe.
Put those in. Blue into the blue bin. Egg containers.
This, too, is a plastic material that's very valuable. It's an egg container. It's a #1 plastic. It's called PET. Again, this could make a jacket, make another egg container, or a drink bottle.
So not all plastic is bad. We have to keep that in mind. There are plastics that can go into the blue bin. Another case in point.
Absolutely. This is a yogurt cup. This yogurt cup can go on to become a building product. It can go on to become another container. Could be a shampoo bottle, could be a detergent bottle or something like that. Importantly, though, very, very importantly, we need people not to leave a little bit of yogurt in, because a little bit of yogurt in this container can contaminate a ton worth of paper and render it unmarketable. So contamination, we talked last hour, this is a big problem, and it's about 25%, isn't it? Is that the number that you work with, that is contaminated that we lose? So it varies community by community. I will tell you that in North America, some of the worst communities are in the area of 33%. In North America, some of the better communities hover around 10%. Yeah, we can do a better job, which is a wonderful segue. Rinse it out. Okay, pop that in. Now, this stuff does not go in. Let's go through these quickly, Mark, and then I'll get on to some questions here. Electrical cords. So daily we see electrical cords go through the 14 facilities that we have in the province. And, you know, these contaminate, they cause damage to equipment, and heaven forbid one of our sorters tries to pull something like this out, it gets wrapped around them. VHS tapes are another popular blooper. Seems that everybody is getting rid of their VHS tapes through the blue box. One would have thought years ago, but anyway, don't do that. Please don't. Do not. Okay, well, let's not put those in. We don't want to confuse the message. Let's just pile them out on the desk. These do not go in. Okay. Well now, done. This is a propane canister. Who would throw that in there? So we're coming up on camping season, and every year we see literally thousands of these go through. And what people have to understand is a propane container with some propane in it, plus an appliance like this that may have a battery in it, this plus this can equal an explosion, which is really not a good thing for anybody. Yeah, quickly, food, that's green bin. You're talking about that, lemon? Importantly, though, organics within the Blue Box program are really on the rise across North America. We just urge homeowners to be vigilant in terms of using the containers as they're intended. All right, and textiles, we've talked about that recently.
They're just sitting in mountains. Give those away. Donate those, or you know, find creative ways. Okay, viewer questions, because I want to get to David Johnson's question. I understand from something I recently read that Sweden recycles most of its trash by burning. The resulting emissions are 99% clean. Only 1% of trash goes into landfill. Why aren't we doing this?
So, David, it's an excellent observation that you make. And in places like Sweden, what they do is they get everything that they can recycled before they send the rest on to create energy from waste. So they have a very, very high diversion rate there. David, it's interesting to note, in a place close to home here in Durham, there is an energy from waste facility, a facility that makes energy from residual materials that can't be recycled. Durham has a very high diversion rate. They recycle what they can, and then the rest goes on to become energy. That's the right thing to do.
And this is what people are looking at. These are some of the alternatives that...
More and more recycling will work in tandem with energy recovery from waste to create a higher diversionary solution. And Durham is a poster child for what's possible.
We talked about coffee just a few minutes ago, that black lid, which is a problem, which is difficult to recycle. David Starr wants to know, why does the city permit companies to supply black plastic containers if those containers are not accepted material for recycling?
So another good question, but David, really isn't in the city's purview to say what can and can't be put into a packaging. It's incumbent upon all of us to work, recyclers like us, to work with the manufacturers of packaging to design things that are more readily recyclable. We have people on staff who do that. It is part of our responsibility as a servant to the public.
You know, you think of the pressure that's been brought to bear on Starbucks to get out more environmentally friendly, and I'm not the only coffee chain, obviously, but there's a lot of consumer pressure because people are concerned about these issues, so keep up the pressure. Last one, this is from Beth. Can you explain why hard plastics cannot be recycled? In my house, there are decades of worn-out toothbrushes stored in tins, waiting for the day when they will be part of the Blue Box program. Explain that one to us.
So, Beth, I want you to keep thinking like that. In fact, I want all the viewers to keep thinking about things that could be recycled. The toothbrush example, it has a hard layer typically in the middle and a softer layer on the outside of the toothbrush, makes it a little difficult to recycle. But you know what? That's another shining example of what, if we put our heads to, we could design better so it's more readily recyclable. Keep thinking that way, Beth.
Pressure on companies, pressure on elected officials to expand programs and come up with alternative solutions. Thank you for answering the questions. Thank you for your questions, and thank you for this, because amazingly, we still need the reminder to use this properly. All right.
Thank you for having us, Heather.
Pleasure to have you in. Mark Badger, Executive Vice President of Canada Fibre. So we'll be keeping that conversation going here on CBC News Network. You're welcome to send us more questions, more sustainable solution ideas. You can tweet them to us at CBC Morning Live, email morninglive@cbc.ca, and don't forget about that direct message through the CBC News Facebook page.